Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you that are watching the videos on a daily basis. We're getting a lot of really good feedback, and I'm getting a lot of really good questions as well, and other topics for me to discuss. And today I've got one of those topics. Specifically, what a subscriber wanted to know was what my favorite chatterbait trailers are. And I've done a video similar to this, only what my favorite trailers were for a swim jig. And to me, I think a lot of people think that a swim jig trailer and a chatterbait trailer are probably roughly the same. And I couldn't disagree more. You know, with a swim jig, a lot of times I'm looking for a trailer that will impart action into that bait. You know, if you can get that swim jig kind of rolling a little bit, that makes it a great swim jig trailer. And in order to do that, a lot of times you need either really good kicking motion or really like a good boot tail, something that has good drag in the water to, you know, really kick and get that bait moving. With a chatterbait, I think it's almost the opposite. What you're looking for is a bait that will allow the chatterbait to do its thing. You know, the chatterbait has enough motion imparted into it by the blade that it doesn't need a trailer to put that action into the bait. What you're looking for is a trailer that does not have a lot of drag, that will allow the chatterbait to hunt, you know, to dart and move back and forth and get that erratic motion going. If you've got a bait that's got too much drag, you know, like a boot tail or just something that's got a really big tail motion on it, what you'll find is your chatterbait will actually almost have a drag where that tail is keeping the bait from moving back and forth. You'll get great vibration still, but you're not getting that crazy movement, you know, every time it deflects off something, or if you get a, you know, you put a little twitch in your rod, or a lot of times just with a chatterbait itself, the blade will kind of like misfire, which will get it to skitter off to one side. And if you've got a trailer that has too much drag, that bait just stays right in line. And you'll catch fish with it, but I don't think it's the best trailer. So I've got here my 3 favorite chatterbait trailers, and I'll kind of walk you through why I like each one that I like, and why they're in my top 3. But I want to point out, for me, what makes a good chatterbait trailer? Something that does not have a lot of drag. I want something that's got a pretty decent keeled belly in it, meaning I want something that is more perpendicular in the water column versus parallel in the water column. And the reason for that is a chatterbait already has a lot of, that blade already wants to rise the bait. You know, so when you're reeling it, that bait wants to rise. If you've got a bait that has more of a parallel body, you know, in the water, that's gonna help that bait rise. I don't want that. I like when my chatterbait stays down. So I want something that's got more of a keeled belly, and that will allow, you know, when it's going through the water, that water displacement will allow that bait to continue to, you know, want to come down if I allow my bait to fall. The bait already rises a lot. I don't want my trailer helping it to rise in the water column. So my top 3, and I'm going to give you in the order. So my 3rd favorite is a Berkeley Pit Boss. And the key with this is when I take the chatterbait, and I've got a lot of different chatterbaits that I use. Most of them are Z-Man products. You know, of course I like the Jackhammer, but I like some of the Tackle Warehouse select, like Z-Man baits as well. I think they're really well made. I think the Jackhammer is a great bait. I don't always think it's the best chatterbait. Let's put it that way. So when I rig this Pit Boss, what I do with this is I turn it on its side to get that keel. So you can see I've got it in line with the hook blade. You know, I think a lot of people, if they were to use this, would actually turn it so that it's this way. So it's this way and not this way. And that just has to do with that keel. If I turned it on its side, it would help rise that bait. I don't want to do that. So the reason I like this trailer a lot is because it's more compact, and at the same time, it's got really good kicking motion, but these legs do not create drag in the water. They create disturbance, and they go crazy with the chatterbait blade, but they don't prevent the chatterbait from hunting, all over the place. I like this more when I'm fishing up in the North Country where we don't really have much shad. If it's more of a bluegill forage base, I like to throw this because it gives a bigger body profile and it's more short and compact, which to me looks more like a bluegill. And this color is not necessarily what I would throw on a white colored chatterbait. I'm just doing it because that's what I've got right here. But it is one that I really like to put on a green pumpkin chatterbait to mimic a bluegill. But it's a great trailer, got great motion, and allows the bait to hunt really well. So that's my third favorite. My second favorite is a Yamamoto Zako. I do not want the boot tail one. I just want the straight tail Zako. And this is just one it's really a do nothing bait. You can kind of get this, you get the same action out of if you put a fluke on it. The reason I like the Zako a little bit more than a fluke is just because it's more of a compact body, has a little wider depth, and has that keel that I'm talking about, that belly. It's more vertical in the water column, but again, it's kind of, it was designed specifically for chatterbaits, so it's really got the right build in mind. It's compact, it's got a nice deep body on it, it's got a good keel, and because it doesn't have a tail that's got really any action in it, it does not have that drag that I don't want with the chatterbait. This trailer just lets the chatterbait do its thing, hunt and peck all over the place. It's a really good clear water trailer because of the fact that it doesn't have a ton of extra motion. If you're looking for a little bit extra kick, that's when I like to go with the Pit Boss, just because it has a little bit extra water displacement. But the Zako is a great trailer for chatterbaits. My number one chatterbait trailer, and this goes against what I said before with respect to the swim jigs, but it right now is my favorite swim jig trailer as well. And this is the Berkeley The Deal. And this thing is just absolutely perfect for a chatterbait as well. It's got, from a design, it's got that compact, that nice thicker body frame, good keel again, nice narrow build, and it's got two legs that do kick a lot, but again, there's no drag. They have such little drag. They're not legs that are going to slow your bait down. They just enhance that crazy erratic motion. So when your chatterbait is, going all over the place, these tails are going crazy as well, but they're going with the bait. They're not, preventing the bait from doing what it wants to do. The other thing that I love about the Deal is these legs do not kick like the Pit Boss. They're not perfectly, they're not always in perfect sync, right? You may have one that's flapping really good, and this one just kind of every once in a while will kick hard, but this one is going hard. So it's really, really erratic. And I think that's one of the things that makes this bait so good. I mean, it's got its own little deal and just generates strikes. And because of the size, the frame on the jig, it just creates a good shape. It's a good size. This is the 4.5 inch. It does come in a 3.5 inch if you want something a little smaller, which I'll go with when I'm fishing more spotted bass or more smallmouth. But it's just an all-around perfect trailer, in my opinion, for a chatterbait. So these are the 3 that I use, guys. I think the takeaways from the video: you don't want a trailer that creates drag. You want to allow your chatterbait to hunt as it would without a trailer. And you just want something that has, you know, a good keel and keeps that bait kind of in line and prevents it from rising to the surface. You want to keep it down and in those weeds or deflecting off cover as much as possible. So those are my 3. I hope they help you guys. You will not go wrong with any, you know, any of those 3. They catch a ton of fish for me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to throwing a chatterbait a lot this year. It's definitely becoming a bait, one of my go-to baits, and it generates big strikes. You don't get as many strikes, but it generates big strikes. So give them a try, guys. Anyways, if you like the video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe to the channel, please. And if you enjoyed it enough, share it on your social media pages. I appreciate all of you watching. Tune in tomorrow. We got videos coming out every day. Thanks.